This is China Undercover exposing the stark realities of a nation in turmoil. Southern Shandong was melting, literally melting under a merciless sun. For days, the thermometers in Jinan flirted with 40 degrees C frying eggs on car hoods, leaving commuters gasping for breath the moment they stepped off the bus. People joked that their skin was turning to barbecue pork. Then bang, at 2 in the afternoon on July 7th, the sky flipped a switch. Noon blazed like a forge. By 2 p.m., the city plunged into something out of a disaster film. Black clouds whined howling like a jet engine, and a wall of rain so thick drivers couldn't see their own wipers. You could almost hear the city scream, "What crime did we commit to deserve this?" From furnace to freezer in 15 minutes. At 11 a.m., the Jinan Meteorological Observatory still yelled orange alert for heat. People wiped sweat, cursed the sun, and kept trudging. By 11:40, though, the forecasters were already panicking yellow alert for thunderstorm gales because radar showed a monster cell barreling down from the southwest. 10 minutes before 3 p.m., they hit the siren again. Orange alert for hail. Yes, hail on a day that had started hot enough to steam buns. Small pellets peppered the downtown core, clattering off balconies like someone dumping gravel from the sky. A woman surnamed Wang was waiting for her bus, fanning herself thinking about an iced milk tea when the air suddenly smelled metallic. She boarded the bus, turned onto Sankong Chao, and boom! A tree as thick as a telephone pole crashed across the lane, its crown blocking every inch of asphalt and crunching the hood of a gray sedan. "I thought the world was ending," she said. The driver, a cool-headed lady, radioed dispatch, soothed the passengers. "Don't panic, aunties, we'll get you home." Then reversed the giant bus like she was drifting in a Tokyo street race. 5 minutes of chaos route detoured, crisis averted. Elsewhere in Tianqiao district, a vendor watched helplessly as the corrugated iron roof of his makeshift stall peeled away like aluminum foil on a hot potato, his advertising boards cartwheeling into the air. Even the external AC units, those heavy beasts bolted to concrete, were ripped from brackets and hurled to the pavement. Someone caught it on video shards of styrofoam swirling in tornado-style updrafts, sheet metal slamming the ground like cymbals at a rock concert. Then the deluge hit, and within 10 minutes water had swallowed people's ankles. Citizen, play-by-play. My umbrella almost became a kite. Social media exploded. One post showed day turning to night, lens pointed at the sky, pure charcoal. Another girl in Xizang district yelled over the roar, "It's 2 o'clock, people. 2 o'clock and I can't even see the next block." Umbrella useless. It wants to fly away with me attached. Her shoes looked like she'd waded through a river. A grandfather who normally refuses to touch aircon finally surrendered. "If I don't switch it on today, I'll either roast or drown." A viral clip from Licheng captured a scooter rider wiped out by the torrent, both rider and bike sliding like a hockey puck down the street. Out of nowhere, a truck driver jumped off his rig, an overworked food delivery guy skidded in, and together they hoisted man and machine onto the curb. 30 seconds later, a surge of water ripped through the spot they'd just stood. Internet crowned them heroes of the storm. Why did the heavens flip meteorologists say Jinan was trapped under a heat dome, a lid of high pressure cooking the ground layer? All the city's glass asphalt and concrete amplified the baking, but up high, a southwest trough packed with moist air was itching for a fight. The moment that cool layer shoved beneath the dome pressure, crashed hot air rocketed upward and bang, explosive convection. Picture a shaken soda bottle. You twist the cap and everything bursts out at once. That's how you get hail in July and wind strong enough to rip AC compressors off walls. Climate scientists add a darker footnote. As global temperatures rise, these heat domes turned megastorms are no longer freak accidents. They're becoming annual guests. Clausius-Clapeyron law says every extra degree, Celsius lets air hold 7% more water vapor, meaning storms pack bigger water bombs when they finally break. Translation, buckle up, because July 7th might be rehearsal for the main act. Damage report first 24 hours. Trees down, 200+ many with trunks wider than a man's waist. City crews needed chainsaws through the night. Power cuts localized blackouts where lines crossed falling branches. Some families ate dinner by candlelight and battery fan. Commercial losses. The Tianqiao wet market counted 40 stalls roofless. Produce floated away, vendors wept. Casualties, 12 injuries, citywide sprains, glass cuts, minor concussions, no deaths, miracle, given the flying debris. Traffic paralysis bus lines, rerouted private cars, stranded in knee-deep water. Spontaneous volunteer squads dragged fallen trunks aside, chanting, Yi er san pull big picture, can the city cope? Next time, urban planners love buzzwords, sponge city resilient drainage, but July 7th exposed rusty bolts in the system. Litter clogged storm grates within minutes, turning streets into canals. Many roadside trees planted fast during beautification drives had shallow root balls. When gale met saturated soil, they toppled like dominoes. External AC units lacked wind load standards. A $2 bracket can't fight a Category 10 gust. And warning messages. They dropped yes, but few commuters check the weather feed every 30 minutes. Experts propose a shopping list. Bigger. Culverts. Permeable pavements. Real. Tree anchoring. Mandatory inspection of rooftop billboards. And push emergency alerts straight to phone lock screens with an air raid siren. Ping. Will budget stretch? Maybe after videos of trees squashing sedans go viral, city councils suddenly find money. Life goes on. Hotter than ever. Don't celebrate the rain for long. Forecasters whisper that the mercury will roar back above 35 degrees C by July 8th and stay there 2 full weeks. Imagine switching from sauna to cold shower to sauna again. Housewives joke they'll hang laundry during downpours because spin cycles are redundant. Office workers pack both sunscreen and rain boots. Parents tell kids carry an umbrella and a towel, one for rain, one for sweat. Whose fault, heaven's or mankind's? Scroll through Weibo and you'll see conspiracy memes. The CCP ruined feng shui. That's why heaven punishes us. Others blame endless concrete and vanished lakes that once soaked up stormwater. Scientists shake their heads. It's basic thermodynamics plus urbanization on steroids. But whatever narrative you pick, one truth screams louder than the thunder. Extreme weather is now a regular headline, not a foe. On July 7th, Jinan residents tasted 2 ends of Asia's new climate spectrum in a single afternoon. Sweltering heat that bakes roads into waffle cones and apocalyptic storms that turn streets into rivers. Trees crashed, roofs flew, but strangers also leapt from trucks to save a stranger. Bus drivers kept passengers calm, neighbors hauled logs together to free an ambulance path. That resilience matters, because next month or next week, the sky may test them again. So, charge your power banks, bolt your AC units, clear the gutters. Learn the difference between a yellow gale alert and an orange hail alert. And above all, keep an eye on the horizon. In the summer of 2025, clouds gather fast and hit hard. When the furnace flips to flood mode, you'll have seconds, not minutes to react. Stay safe. Jinan, and keep those umbrellas and chainsaws close. A real estate catastrophe is unraveling across China. Structures are collapsing. The notorious Tofu-Dreg crisis has resurfaced. Citizens are gripped by fear, and a sprawling construction scandal is coming to light. Fractures are spreading not just in buildings, but in the very dream of China's urban triumph. In a mere 72 hours, over 300 residential complexes nationwide reported critical structural failures. Walls are cracking, foundations are giving way, and in some cities entire towers have fallen without warning. What's gone wrong? For decades, China's skyline symbolized boundless ambition, towering skyscrapers, rows of high-rise apartments, and entire cities built in a flash. From Shenzhen to Chengdu, From Beijing's heart to Chongqing's edges, the government championed a single mantra: urban expansion equals national strength. The stats were staggering. Between 2000 and 2020, China consumed more cement than the US did in the entire 20th century, relocating 600 million people into urban centers and birthing dozens of megacities in just 2 decades. Construction surged and profits soared. Developers like Evergrande and Country Garden became giants, with real estate accounting for nearly 30% of GDP. Local governments grew dependent on land auctions, while families invested life savings in new apartments, not for homes, but for speculation and dreams. Yet beneath the gleaming facades lay a fragile core, a perilous mirage. To meet breakneck deadlines, buildings rose in as little as 60 and 90 days, with developers cutting corners using shoddy materials and employing untrained workers. Concrete was diluted steel, was flimsy, and safety was an afterthought. The term tofu-dreg projects emerged, describing structures as unstable as soggy bean curd. Warnings went unheeded. Whistleblowers were muzzled, and officials ignored the decay as long as towers rose and money flowed. Now the cracks are both physical and symbolic. Entire urban districts are decaying walls, splitting floors, collapsing, some buildings falling entirely, endangering or claiming lives. This isn't just a bursting bubble. It's a slow-motion structural disaster, with ordinary families bearing the cost. Reports flood in from provinces like Henan, Hunan, Sichuan, and Guangdong, showing eerily similar scenes. Residential towers marred by gaping cracks, ceilings, sagging tiles, shattering, and foundations shifting like quicksand. In just 10 days, over 300 buildings across 18 cities showed signs of collapse. Residents fled, clutching children and belongings, capturing chilling footage on phones that briefly went viral on Weibo and WeChat before censors erased them. In Changsha, a luxury apartment complex saw its B block shift centimeters overnight, with tenants woken by eerie creaks as cracks tore through their homes. Officials didn't investigate. They cordoned off the site, silenced residents, and blamed temperature shifts or minor soil settling. In Nanning, a row of 4-story buildings partially collapsed after heavy rain, despite months of residents reporting mold leaks and warped structures. One displaced local told foreign media, "They sold us premium quality." Now we're in a tent under a bridge. In Zhengzhou, Henan, a gleaming high-rise stands next to its tilting twin, its base barricaded shattered glass, mirroring the broken promise of China's property boom, shiny outside, rotten within. Authorities are racing to hide the evidence, demolishing unstable structures at night, evacuating neighborhoods with little notice. Compensation is rarely offered. Families are herded into makeshift camps, left waiting for updates that never arrive. Online videos of these covert demolitions vanish quickly, fueling fear and speculation. This crisis isn't confined to smaller cities. Guangzhou's Huadu district saw a 5-year-old tower shed tiles after light rain, its foundational flaws ignored due to drained funds. The phrase Tofu-Dreg 2.0 has gone viral, echoing Premier Wen Jiabao's 2008 lament over shoddily built schools after the Sichuan earthquake. But today, there's no natural disaster, just human failure, widespread and systemic. Developers have vanished, leaving frozen construction sites in cities like Chengdu and Tianjin, where idle cranes and weed-choked towers mark new ghost towns. Beijing's response is feeble. The Ministry of Housing issued a vague statement on isolated failures, offering no inquiry or accountability, blaming weather or local errors to dodge the deeper rot. Public fury is mounting, with residents sharing videos, forming advocacy groups, and attempting protests only to face swift suppression. Whistleblowers are detained, accused of spreading rumors or disrupting harmony. As southern China braces for July and August rains, families in these fragile buildings live in dread, knowing collapse is not a question of if, but when. The Tofu-Dreg crisis is back, more menacing than ever. Coined after the 2008 Sichuan earthquake, when shoddy schools crumbled, killing thousands due to corrupt contractors and weak materials, the term now defines China's failing infrastructure. Despite pledges to reform, the problem has worsened. Systemic shortcuts are rampant. Developers under financial strain skimp on steel, dilute concrete, and bypass inspections. Buildings pass on paper but are disasters waiting to happen. A Hubei whistleblower exposed a beam with just 1/3 the required steel. Bribed inspectors signed off. The engineer was silenced and the structure was quietly raised. This isn't an anomaly, it's the norm. As the real estate bubble implodes, ghost towers half-built, abandoned, and unsafe multiply. Overbuilding and speculation have crushed demand, leaving developers bankrupt and projects halted. Exposed to the elements, these structures weaken before completion with rusted steel and shifting foundations. Rushed to deliver, developers patch cracks and glue tiles, sacrificing safety. Homebuyers discover facades without insulation, drainage, or stability, some towers tilting within months. Yet authorities issue safety certificates, complicit in the fraud. The system is rotten. Planners fast-track zoning inspectors, fake reports, banks fund blueprints, and officials take bribes. Complaints vanish, journalists are silenced, and courts reject lawsuits to maintain stability. Beijing's propaganda touts urban glory, but the reality is crumbling homes and terrified families. The collapse of 300 buildings isn't weather-related. It's the result of institutionalized fraud and absent accountability. If this can happen in days across a few cities, what awaits when storms hit? As faith in the housing market. The backbone of China's middle class crumbles. What happens to the economy when millions stop buying China? Undercover will keep exposing these truths. Share your thoughts. Below, subscribe and turn on notifications for the latest updates. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining.